I was going to go easy on you, not to hurt your feelings.
You f***ing irritate the shit out of me.
I'm only going to get this one chance. It's just a feeling I've got, like something's about to happen, but I don't know what.
All I hear, go get the money, so I go get it. Hate means I do something.
Hey, what's going on, peeps? Here we go. We are doing Gap Sell Keenan number 42. I can't believe we've done 42 of these. This is crazy. 41 individuals. One guy tried to do it twice, and then you saw that was the biggest shit show on the planet. He didn't learn his lesson the second time. It came in twice as bad. He didn't learn his lesson the first time. It came in twice as bad the second. It was embarrassing. Oh, I can't remember what number it was. But oof, I remember. I was just perplexed. But anyways, we have a different participant today. So you want to stay with us. I'm going to introduce him in a second. But listen, this is how it works. You know what Gap Sell Keenan is? This is a real live sales call. A real live salesperson is trying to sell me their product or service. If they can find a problem I have, if they can find a problem that's negatively affecting my organization and they can fix it, I will buy. If not, they are subject to my feedback and criticism, and that can be very, very interesting. And one other thing, I'm going to do something different this time. I am going to grade the person at the end. And so if you want to feel how they did and you want to get my opinion on how they did, you want to stay through this whole thing and see how I grade them. So we are going to introduce one Mr. Cary Duffy. Let me get Mr. Duffy in here. Let me get him in here, and we will get him going. So, Mr. Duffy, how you doing, baby?
How you doing, Keenan?
I'm good, my man. I'm good. Welcome. You feel like you're ready to tackle the challenge of gap selling me?
I'm ready for a good conversation. If we're a good fit, it's going to work, right? But yep. I'm looking for it.
All right. Well, listen, I'll give you 2 seconds while I get the LinkedIn going here to tell everybody what you do, so at least they have some framework for what you're going to be trying to sell me.
I'm okay. Ready for a good. Cool. Yeah. Shall I go?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. So yeah, I'm Cary Duffy. I've worked in sales for about 28 years now. So I worked in technology for the last 20 or so. So I work in the enterprise division of a UK IT services company. So my clients are generally large corporates and enterprises, normally UK centric, but sometimes bigger. Now, what I help them to do is to try and make really good decisions with regards to technology investments. And broadly speaking, they're either trying to move away from some sort of pain that's affecting their business negatively, or they've got some aspiration and goal that they want to move towards, and they want to make the best decisions to be able to achieve that goal. And they also know the rewards for getting there. So kind of two ways that I try and help organizations. Long sales cycles, quite complex, but generally speaking, we try and help achieve a business objective rather than just trying to sell a product. So I don't sell products or really services, more like it's be nice if it was an outcome that contributed to, as I say, a top or bottom line.
Okay. All right. So with that in the backdrop, go, my man. The floor is yours.
Okay, cool. All right. So first things first, in order to understand your business a bit more than what I do already, I might have to ask you a bunch of questions. Some of them might be hard. Bear with me. Just go with it and try and answer honestly. And hopefully some of them will make you think a little bit. So what I'm going to talk to you today is about technology, right? The best use of technology for your organization. And I'll start off with just a couple of quick questions. Can you explain and help me understand a little bit about how IT or technology works in your company? Now, you can ask me to be more specific, or you can go if you kind of get that.
I get it. So, yeah, man, like it's 100% outsourced. Like we're a small company, right? So we don't have first off, everybody's remote. We don't have enough employees to warrant an in-house IT organization. Just don't have it, right?
Yeah. Okay. So in terms of your the outsourcing that you've got at the moment, can you give me a bit of an insight as to the kind of partners that you're working with at the moment? Like you would call them partners or suppliers who do that IT that suits the business requirements today.
I think maybe I missed some, but I think the only real supplier I'm using right now is the company we work with that's building or has been building and continues to work, maintain, and build our online sales training. So Gap Selling online sales training.
Yeah.
And if any of
okay.
you haven't taken it yet and you've been watching these, you're smoking crack. Like how you watch these and then don't turn around and go take online sales training, get selling online sales training is beyond me. But I digress. Okay, yeah, that's the biggest.
It's an incredibly good point. Okay, fine. So in terms of the technology that you might want to use in the future, at the moment everything's kind of fine, and you've got your online platform, etc., etc. Whose responsibility is it within the organization to make the decisions for the future, which I know you're doing? It's very clear, and that information's available. You're going to grow, you're scaling your business, you're going to take on more trainers, you're going to scale up gap selling, you've got aspirations to go. Who does it fall to kind of make sure that you make the right decisions, foundational decisions to move forward? Me
and Brady. Brady is my operational partner, and she keeps me straight and narrow. It's fun how much she tolerates. We have some of the best arguments in the world. But no, me and Brady.
Okay,
so primarily me right now.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. So, like, do you think that between you two, do you see yourselves as like early or late adopters to new technologies?
I would say early adopters. If we use the Jeffrey Moore thing, I don't know that we're innovators. I mean, if a lot of times just lack of information, I don't mind being an innovator, right? In some areas, but usually it's just lack of awareness that prevents me from being an innovator. But definitely early adopter. I'll get on the shit early as possible.
Yeah, right. When you see either an opportunity, I guess, to make things better or to potentially solve a problem, or etc., etc. Just
both
use of the most appropriate tools, right?
Yeah, I don't give a fuck. Let's go.
Yeah, I get you. So it's quite a large fragmented marketplace in terms of the types of technology that you can use, whether it be for your employees in your office, the digital platform, etc., etc. Now, what I would say is, as there's such a prevalence of these different offerings, how would you have the time, or your associate have the time, to be able to know they were making the right decisions for now and in the future?
I don't know. We just do our research. We take a look at what we're trying to solve. What's the problem, right? So I'm going to throw you a bone here, because in my opinion, you're actually going the wrong direction, but I'm going to throw you a bone just to give you a chance to come back. Okay.
Thank you.
It is an example was when we decided we wanted to do our own, and when we decided we were going to do gap selling online training, we looked at a handful of pre-built LMSs, everything from Teachable all the way up to some of these enterprise ones. And when we asked ourselves, okay, who are we as a company? What is it we're trying to accomplish? What does the user experience want to be? How do we want to do it? We came to the conclusion that we want it to be extremely interactive. Okay. Well, nobody at the time created, and maybe still not here, has created an interactive LMS pre-built platform. How do I define interactive? What I mean by that is choose your own journey. So what we wanted to do is when someone came on, if they answered a question or they I asked a question in the video, I wanted them to have a chance to answer me. And then based on their answer to me, they get another video that was corresponded with their answer. So it was like interactive, choose your own journey. So if I said, hey, do you think it's important to be a really good pitcher or a really good closer when you're a salesperson? And then up comes a pop-up menu and it says yes or no. And if you say yes, you get this video and this interaction. If you say no, you get this one. And I pick up where I left off as if it's a real conversation. Like, what do you mean you think closing's okay, you dumbass, right? So no one did that. No one did that. So we decided to build it ourselves. So that's how we go. We use the business requirements and the desired outcomes and the objectives to decide, make our technological choices. Long answer.
Okay, that makes total sense to me. And it's at the moment in your evolution of an organization, it works about okay, right? And at the moment,
it's not many IT decisions to make.
Well, indeed. It's stuff like cybersecurity, cyber threats, data protection, all that type of stuff as well. Without wanting to guess, I'm guessing you're using quite a lot of SaaS applications, so you don't have a lot of your own servers, which you need to host somewhere, all that kind of stuff as well, correct?
Nope.
Nothing at all.
We don't host a thing. Have no desire to. I'm too small. Well, that's not entirely true. Not entirely true. We host that. We don't host it us, but we host it on AWS, our online platform.
I understand. And you pay someone to administer all of that. That's part of one of the partners that already looks after you. Okay, that's fine. Does anything at the moment in any of those technology areas? Oh, no, sorry. I said about cyber threats and stuff like that. You don't have any problems with any like personal data or information or anything like that you need to be able to safeguard or keep up standards?
No, because all the personal information we collect sits on HubSpot or Stripe. Again, all SaaS. We're 99.9% SaaS organization.
Okay. And to be honest with you, the type of organization that you are, I kind of would have guessed that. I would say kind of born in the cloud, or at least born in the cloud kind of generation, which means that you don't have any legacy stuff that you need to look after when you transition to become more of a digital organization. Great. Can you, if you looked at it holistically, is there anything within that technology, whether it be the offerings that you've got for your clients or the stuff that you do yourself or the stuff you might expect to be able to have to support new people when you bring them on and you scale the business up, does anything fall beneath your satisfaction levels currently?
Ask the question again.
Does anything in the realm of technology fall beneath your current satisfaction levels in terms of like it?
Yes.
Okay. Could you explain a little bit to me what that is?
Our experience and current working relationship with our developer.
Developers. Okay, fine. Can you tell me a little bit more about that, just so I can understand what kind of pain that's causing?
Yeah. One, I think we lose a lot. And we didn't hire a product manager. The person we work with, when they sold it to us, said they were going to be our product manager. And there seems to be a lot of disconnect between their interpretation of what we want and our interpretation of what we want. And so a lot of times they end up developing things that quote unquote met the spec on the SOW, but the output or desired outcome of what we actually wanted it to do or be able to do isn't able to do it. Or sometimes it met the spec, but there were some things that we just thought were common sense that weren't in it. As in a very simple example, the metaphor I've used several times in our conversations with them, we all agree that we need to build we have a car, and we all agree we need to build an oil pan. And so we decide the size of the oil pan, we decide the metal that's going to be used for the iron, right, and all of that, and they build the oil pan, and then we go to change the oil, and there's no fucking oil pan screw. And they say, well, you didn't ask for one. And we're like, are you fucking high? I mean, an oil pan comes with one. How are we supposed to know that you wouldn't know to put one in there or ask us? It's an oil pan. Like you got it. Like it's literally, we had so many issues with that type of shit that they built what we asked for. We both agreed, but we assumed that when we asked for an oil pan, you get, this is a metaphor. You get the freaking screw to change the oil. So then we're like, well, fuck, we got to do it. And they're like, well, sorry, we have to build the whole thing over again because you can't just bore and put a new screw in. So you got to pay this. I'm like, are you high? Like, that shit drove us crazy. Okay.
Let me just, I'm going to dig into that a little bit more. For me, that kind of, I think everything that we discussed so far, see where you're going. I see that type of scale of your organization, where you're going. We don't need to talk about the future, although we could come back to that a little bit later about where you're going to be when you do succeed, but we can put a pin in that. So what I'm hearing, if we just dig into this one problem with the time that we've got, right? Because what are we in? We're a little bit into our call now. How long has this problem been running for you? And the other thing I was going to say before you answer that is, Keenan, I should say, you're a very enthusiastic, emotional person. I can't tell whether you're just generally emotional about everything or this is a real pain for you, this developer issue.
No, it's a pain in the ass. Come on, man. Like, that was a dumb question, because whether my enthusiasm comes back or forth, you got to put yourself in my shoes, right? Or you buy your shoes. And if you literally just paid somebody to build you an oil pan, I keep using this metaphor because I don't need to go into the bullshit of the truth, right? The actual piece. It's too complicated. But if I kept paying someone to build an oil pan and they built an oil pan and then didn't put a fucking oil plug in there to change the oil, and then we all agreed they're going to create a tire, but didn't put the fucking air thing in there so I could fill it up with air. Enough times you're going to be fucking irate. You don't need to ask me if this is. Come on, that would be frustrating. As a developer, you have to keep redoing shit because stuff you assumed is common, right? Common. So here's a perfect example. They didn't give our users a way. We have a team plan, right? We built a team plan, right? So they knew that this is what we would sell to buyers. I mean, to B2B businesses, they'd come in, they'd buy it for their team of 5 or 20 or 100. It didn't matter. Blah, blah. They never gave them a way to delete a user or turn a user off.
Okay.
So, I mean, do I really have to get that fucking granular? So now we have customers. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? That type of shit.
I get you. No, I get you. I could ask you, how does that make you feel? But I now know. So that's fine. So the evidence is there as well. That's also fine. Let me ask you a question. It's trying to find the value of removing this problem for you. Like, can you put a price tag on the problem?
Oh, Dad, that's an awful question. You were doing okay. Cary, Cary, you have to find that. Don't ask me to do that. That's self-diagnosis, right? You have to find that. Okay. And do you know how to find it? Try to find it. Try to find the price tag. This will be a good lesson. If you do this well, you'll actually help a lot of people. Try to find it.
Okay. All right, fine. So has there been any calculations that you've made? Now, I've got some experience in other people having similar problems, and they've been able to put together at least a ballpark of the impacts of their business, right? And sometimes it comes in lots of different ways, et cetera, et cetera. Do you think you've suffered lost revenues or lost opportunity from customers existing and new?
Okay, so that's still a self-diagnosis question. I want to teach you how to do this without asking me to tell you, because I could lie, I might not. Like, try it. Circle the wagon. Circle the wagon. Your brain is telling you you're actually doing a good job. Your brain is sending you down the right road. You're just taking the wrong vehicle. Right?
Okay. So I know how it makes you feel. I know there's a problem there. Help me out, Keenan.
No, don't move away. You're trying to quantify the size of the problem. That's exactly right. But don't ask me to tell you what it is. Ask questions around it so then you can say back, so wow, the problem is this big.
Okay, fine. All right. So my first question would be, do you feel like you have...
No, I don't feel like. No, get this. Ask a very specific probing question.
Has this cost you money already, Keenan?
That's a diagnosis. That's a self-diagnosis. Everybody watch what I do here. This is so hard for salespeople. When you learn this, you'll crush it, okay? You got to sort of take a step back to take a step forward. So you're like, Keenan, so this has been happening a lot. Yes. Let me ask you a question. How much were you planning to drive through this application?
Okay.
Right? Okay. You see what I did there? So I would say, well, in the first year, we wanted to drive $250,000 through it. Okay. Because of these errors, did it slow down your ability to get it out in the market? Did it impact the ability to get people on it? Do you see what I'm saying? Now you'll know it. You don't got to ask me.
Yeah.
You don't got to ask me. Again, guys, stop asking your fucking buyer to diagnose for you. Just probe for the facts. Then you can tell the buyer what you think the problem is. It'll be hard for the buyer to get out from under it. Because you all have experience. Buyers are uncomfortable sharing obvious information, right? Saying, yeah. Because the minute you ask the buyer that, they're afraid if they say yes, you're not going to let them go. Right? Yes, it's cost us money. And then they're going to be like, if I tell him that, he's going to be all over me and he's never going to let me go. Right? But if you stay in the diagnosis mode and you dig through that, now you're in a much better position.
Okay. All right.
Okay, now, I also gave you another hint that you absolutely unequivocally missed. Absolutely unequivocally missed. And it was a huge hint. I said to you, I get frustrated because the company makes the freaking oil pan, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't have the plug in it. It comes time to change the oil. I'm like, where's the oil plug? We didn't put it in. You didn't ask for it. Well, I'm like, we got to change the oil. That's not an option, never to change the oil. So now we have to get an oil plug. Can you please put one in? He says, I can't, because you can't just bore a hole and plug it. It'll never work. You have to build the oil plug in it. So we have to rebuild it.
Right. Okay,
what did you miss? What did you miss right there?
Well, the fact that not only does it not work, but you're going to have to rip the whole thing out and start again.
Okay, so what questions did you miss that you could ask?
I don't know. I guess I'd be...
I want to pull my hair out. Cary, what do you mean you don't fucking know? Come on, you said you've been selling for 25 years. I just served you a giant turkey in front of you. The first question should be, oh my God, how often does this happen? How often does he have to rebuild? How much do you have to pay to repay for the same fucking feature? How many times has this happened? How much does it cost you extra money? How many times has it prohibited you from rolling out a feature? How many customers it cost you because that feature was fucked up? Cary, I'm sorry to lose my shit, but that, like, if a client gives you that and you miss it, that is literally like walking past an open gold mine where the yellow is sprinkling and shining at you and you walk by $100 million fucking gold mine. You can't do that. That was absolute fucking gold tee up. And not only did you miss it, when I played it back to you, you didn't know what to ask. In your words, I don't know. Right? Dude, do you understand why I'm so feisty right now? It's out of love for you. It was an amazing opportunity for you.
Okay. All right.
This is what so many salespeople miss. I literally told you a problem, right? That I have to do it again. And that should have, like, bam, holy shit, they got to do it again. That must cost a lot of money. That must slow the delivery time. That must affect customers. Bam, 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 bam. There's your problem.
Yeah, I think the problem was when I said I didn't know how to frame it in a way that meets within the criteria of not asking a direct question of self-diagnosis. That was the bit that I was kind of struggling. You can dig into a problem and get and unlayer it. And how does that make you feel? And do that.
But I don't want to keep that. How does it make you feel out? I want you to think about more pragmatic, Cary. I think you're too, like most salespeople, and I'm the same way. Look at me getting all hyped up. You're the same way. We get emotional. I want you to be more pragmatic. Don't ask me how I feel. And it's okay to ask a direct question, but ask a direct question around the context of the environment.
Okay.
Right? I literally said, then I have to redo it. Very straight question. How often do you have to redo it? Like that is like, this is nothing more direct, but nothing more simple. Can't you see that is the most direct path to the size of the problem?
Yeah.
Right. And if you say, let's say I said I only had to redo it once. I only have to redo it once. Okay, that's not bad. How much did it cost you to redo that one time? $100,000. Holy shit. That was a $100,000 mistake. That's a big deal. Right. Or it's, well, it only cost $10,000, but I'm afraid it'll happen again. Okay. Why are you afraid it can happen again? Or it's happened 20 times, but it's been 5,000 to 6,000 every fucking 20 times. Or it'll have 6 times, but each time it happens, it delays the launch of that particular feature by 2 months. And by delaying it 2 months, how did that impact your ability to hit the $250,000? Do you see where I am, Cary?
Yeah, I do. Would you say that going to, could you put a price tag on the problem to help define the value? That was just too direct, too early in the process.
No, you never have to ask that question. Watch. So in my fired up sense, I may have gone too fast and too hard that you missed the point. If you ask these direct questions and I say I've had to redo the features at least 7 or 8 times. And I told you on average, it cost me anywhere from $4,000 to $8,000. So that's $28,000 to $56,000, right? Then I tell you it's delayed the rollout of the feature by as much as a month. And I told you that it's pissed off a couple clients. I can't put a price tag on that, but clients have been pissed off and were irritated and had a negative experience. So now, after I've told you all of that, you now know the price tag, Cary.
Yeah, you don't need to ask, right? You know you've got a problem, man.
Yeah, that's the cool part. That's the best part. You don't have to ask. You literally just got them to tell you without asking. Okay. And you got to go in places their head probably hadn't have gone.
Okay. All right, that makes sense. I mean, look, if you then go about the impact, then we've already kind of gone through that, right? In terms of the impact it's had on the customers, the business, et cetera, et cetera. We've kind of, I guess, the costs and the consequences of sticking and doing nothing, or is that an option for you? Like to just kind of continue
Again,
on?
You're asking me to self-diagnose. So now that I've told you what this is, and you asked me what's a problem, and I told you this is the problem. Do you think I want to stay in this environment?
No, true. We could move on to is the root cause important because it's a third party that are doing it in terms of?
Well, we already know the root cause, right?
Yeah, the root cause is okay. All right,
right.
Fine.
I actually kind of told you what the root cause. Now, this is where your expertise should come in. You should know the root cause. Now, I told you that I believe the root cause. We didn't hire a product manager, so we don't really know how to product manage very well.
Yeah.
There's
a disconnect there you talked about, which is causing the problem in terms of the actual functionality of the thing that comes to market, right?
Potentially, yeah. So this is where your expertise comes in. This is where you're making the. Sorry, I got sidetracked with a comment. This is where your expertise comes in. Everybody watching, this is the value you're supposed to bring as a salesperson. Your ability to sit here and say to me now, I'm making this up, Cary, but you're the expert. You should say, Keenan, this is not uncommon. The conversations between business owners and developers, a lot is lost in translation. There are certain things that we agree that are considered best practices should automatically happen. Other cases what the buyer thinks is best practice isn't. And so therefore what we have found is to limit these types of things, you need X. And that X should be what you sell. But you've got to, oh my God, everybody wants me today. But you've got to be able to understand what that is and tell me what the root cause is. You need to say, I believe based on what you've told me, the root cause is X. If you still don't have the root cause, you should ask me. You should say things like, this is, Cary, you're not listening now. I can already see you're moving ahead because you're going yes and you want to talk. Watch what I do here. If you think you know what the root cause is, ask about it. Say, do me a favor. Tell me about the conversations you have when you're talking about a new feature. Tell me, do you have an SOW? How is the SOW structured? Tell me how you see what I'm saying? Walk me through that process. And you should be looking for things in that process that are broken. And then say, okay, now I'm seeing why this happens. I understand this, or this all makes good sense. So it must be something they're doing on their end. You know, you need to dig in here. You need to dig in there. But you without asking that, you really can't find the root cause. Like that's where you'd want to go next, in my opinion.
I understand. No, I understand. Okay. I mean, yes, absolutely. I mean, you could speculate with based on your prior experience, what you believe the root cause to be, and that would probably have been a better way to have moved forward. By that point, as I've done all this marvelously, and you didn't have to shout at me or anything, I might be at the stage now where I'd be saying to you, look, would it be okay if I tell you about your options, not just from
yes.
you?
Yes.
It's a lot, right? So the options that I would say, from my experience of working with other organizations who have similar problems, maybe a similar size to you, similar objectives, et cetera, is to try and work.
No. What I would say is, based on what you just told me and the specific issues and challenges you're faced with, primarily having to redo the work because blah, 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 I recommend. Why would you literally I want you to think about this. You're sitting there, you're out there on a date talking with a girl. You and the girl are really hitting it off, and it looks like things are great. And next date is imminent. And then you say, I'd love to go on another date because with other girls that I've had this much fun with.
Okay, I guess what I was trying. I wouldn't do that. But
yes. You would restate the date, wouldn't you? You'd say, I had so much fun. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed that. This was fun. I like this about you. Same thing.
Yeah, I understand. I think what I was probably trying to do was then try and add some weight to the credibility, to give myself give the customer the confidence. This guy's done it before. This guy's.
But don't you think that credibility, Cary? Don't you think that credibility would be earned by the root cause questions you asked?
Yeah.
People don't get it. The greatest way to freaking earn credibility is in the questions you ask. Now, I'm going to give everybody an example of this because it's really, really good. So pay attention. As you can imagine, I'm kind of a curious dude and maybe a bit controlling in my old age, right? But I remember my daughter had an incident, and she's had, all of them have a whole bunch of incidences because they're athletes and they've broken their arms and blah, blah, blah. But anyways, in one of the instances, I can't remember which one, my daughter was in the hospital. And so I started researching all this stuff, and I researched other stuff. It really doesn't matter how I had it all. And the doctor comes in, and the doctor starts telling me what's going on. And so I start asking the doctor very specific, pointed questions about where we were, what the treatments were, the depth of the problem, blah, 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 right? And the doctor goes, oh, these are great questions. Are you a doctor? No, motherfucker, I'm not a doctor. Oh, no, I'm just not an idiot, right? And so my point on teaching everybody this is my questions gave me credibility to that doctor that I knew what I was talking about. Do you see where I'm going there? So you don't need to talk about something else. You'll earn your credibility simply by asking very deep, robust questions around the problems and the environments that we're dealing with.
Yeah. Okay. I get that. All right. Well, if I'm completely honest with you as well, it's like I'm from a technology background, but I'm definitely not a developer guy. That's not. So I was kind of skating around my capability when I uncovered a problem. Just because it wasn't in my area, it wasn't mean I wasn't going to go for it, because everything else was pretty fine and dandy currently. I tell you what I was going to do, which was an interesting one. If there was no problem, I was going to start trying to think. I don't know what you feel about this. About what a lot of people pay me to do is to look around corners for them. Look at the future. That's why I was saying, how do you make the investments in technology for the future? Make sure you're making the right ones. Well, at the moment, it's not a problem. If you scale up, it is. If you scale up and you don't really make the right decisions, you're going to, you may endanger your ability to be a successfully business.
Yeah. I
So
didn't
go, buddy. Sorry.
I didn't think your questions around the future were bad. And then once you realized I wasn't there, you abandoned them. So I thought that was fine.
No, okay, fine. My point is that I think a competitive advantage for you at this point would be obviously to get someone on board to help you kick the developer in some way, external help to help you kick the developer, whether that means managing them or extricating yourself from that arrangement and finding someone else to do it. That's where I would come in. That would be my offer to be a service.
That is the problem we're trying to solve right now.
Well, indeed. If I hadn't messed up the root cause and digging in the problem, then that's where I would have ended up. And you'd have been A* in me, but unfortunately now it's probably a D or something.
Yeah, and you still actually may make the sale if you can solve that problem. Like, this is a big problem for us right now. A big problem. Okay.
So okay, fine. So let me give you my, if you don't mind, let me give you my interpretation of everything that you said so far. Need to act now rather than act later for a number of different reasons that we don't need to go in. My recommendation could be you could look around, you could persevere, or you could say, all right, well, I've made as much investment as I want to in that, and I just need to fix the problem. If that partner that you've got at the moment can't fix the problem, then I can help you to reverse back out of that scenario that you're in and get on a different path that's going to give you what you need in the short term, but also help you to move forward in the future. Now, that means that you would need to make an investment in my time to work with you, to become an extension of what you do, with it be a part of.
This is all too confusing. I don't understand where you're going. Can you simplify and cut right back to my actual problem?
Okay, fine. I will help you solve the problem by my expertise and knowledge in this
Yours
field.
or your company's?
Well, I am my company. Yes, my company's expertise in this field.
Okay, so how are you going to help? What are you going to recommend? What are you recommending very specifically?
Okay, specifically what I'd want to do is I'd want to come and do an initial kind of deep dive into what's going on, truly understand the functional issues that are being caused by the current design, also reiterate what it is that you actually need from the platform and how it needs to work, and then come up with some sort of plan to remove you from where you currently are and give you a new future state, which is a platform that really works well for you. And for that, no, you go, buddy.
Okay, so here, this is too bad because salespeople do this as well. I think your recommendation now makes me feel like you missed the diagnosis. I don't need anybody to go in and take a look at our whole site. We've already done that. What's built is fine, right? And even though some of the times we've built it, we had to pay twice to build it. Okay. The problem is, as we continue to add features, as we continue to move forward, we're very like here's another question you could ask. When's the last time you built a new feature? We haven't. We're fucking hamstrung right now. We're so uncomfortable going and ask them to build another feature for fear that it's not going to meet our specs, right? Because the thing is working right now for the most part, right? But we're afraid to add on it and do more because we don't want to come back and say, oh, well, that's not exactly what we were thinking. And so then we got to go back and have them do it again.
I don't see how you can maintain that kind of current path then, right? If they can't fix it.
That's why we're looking for a product manager or somebody to do this. So my point is, you're going to fall into if you have a decent product manager, we can figure this out. You may fall into a sale simply because you're the first person that called us up that's in this space. But the truth of the matter is, you did not sell this at all. Like, I'm recognizing, ooh, this guy might be able to help me. Well, how most salespeople sell shit. You call somebody at the right time. That person at the right time just happens to have what you need. Like, oh, look, I got it. But you didn't find this. Like, you didn't sell this. Because even in the end, after you knew the whole thing.
I found it. I didn't sell it.
You found it, but you didn't sell it. And the truth of the matter is, even at the very end, after you had all this stuff, the minute you started talking about, we're going to do a deep dive and look at your current system. No, I didn't say anything about the current system not being right. I talked about the features. So it made me feel like you didn't understand my problem. And now I'm all like, do I really need to go with this guy? Because shit, if they don't understand my problem, I'm going to be in the same position all over.
Well, do you know what, Keenan? I don't understand that problem at that level, so I'm winging it. Winging it.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't know to ask those functional because I'm not a developer guy and I don't work in that area. I work in other areas. But I took a swing, right? Because I found the problem.
Yes, but let me help you on this one. I used to sell IT consulting. You don't need to know all how to develop. You don't need to know that. All you had to stay was focused on the business side, right? All you have to do is focus on the business side and basically say, so Keenan, let me make sure I get this right. If I'm hearing you correctly, you are unable to add new features at the rate you would like to add them, or now you're at a place now you don't even want to add them because you're concerned about the time it's going to take and the extra money, and they're not going to meet your expectations. You have this developer right now you paid all this money to that manage this thing, so it's slowing down the ability to get this thing to grow and get more people on it, etc. You're concerned that the reason is the communication between you and the development team is broken, or you're not talking on the same page. And so you really need someone who can span the difference. Am I getting that? Yes. So let me go back to my development team, explain what's going on, and can we set up a second meeting so they can dig in deeper and they may be able to help you. You don't need to fucking know how to develop. You just need to be paying attention to my business problem. None of that was technical, dog. None of it.
Okay, Chad.
Right? And that may not be something you do, which is perfectly fine, right? But don't try to be the technician. Try to understand. Remember I said at the very beginning today? Try to understand the business problem. Was there anything I said there that you can't grasp cognitively?
No.
See, I know you could have nailed that, right? You could have nailed that. And even if you never got to the sales piece, you said, listen, Keenan, this sounds like a pretty big problem. Right? You could have said, I know you want to get to 250,000 the first year. What do you want to do the second year? Are you on track for that? Do you believe you can get to that second year number if you don't solve this problem? No and no. Yeah. So then you can say, look, I'm not exactly sure what the underlying thing is. What I'd like to do is I'd like to go get one of our product managers, or I'd like to get one of our business analysts, talk to them and see what they recommend, and then can we have a follow-up meeting? Do you think I'd give you a follow-up meeting?
Yeah, I really think you would do, yeah, if I said that.
Hell yeah! Hell yeah! Let's go! Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, it made total sense.
Okay. So what I want everybody to walk away from on this one, okay, is Cary, again, like every person that comes on, I'm proud of you. Thank you very, very much. I love the willingness to have thick skin and take it, okay? What I want everybody to understand, though, is salespeople, you miss so much. Cary literally had a client with a massive problem that he may be able to solve, right? Just his company may be able to solve it. Now, we may not be able to afford it. It may not fit in their wheelhouse. We'll figure that out. But there is a major problem for my company right now that fits in his wheelhouse. And he basically just almost missed it. He pretty much missed it, right? Yeah. So guys, and that's when the problem is glaring. Just imagine if I had more subtle issues that I hadn't really recognized that you could have ferreted out, right? So everybody, you got to really think and pay attention. It's your job to find that problem. It's your job to highlight that problem. It's your job to spew back to the buyer. This is what I'm hearing. This is what I'm seeing. This appears to be the issue. Its impact is such. Am I getting this right? This is what I think I can do for you. That's how you become a consultant. That's how you become a gap seller. Right?
You got it.
Was this helpful?
Yes, it was. It was what I expected. And I really enjoyed it. So thank you, mate.
All right, thank you, man. So here we go. Here's the first one to get a score. Okay. So I'm going to give you okay. For some of the decent questions on the front end, I'm going to give you a C-. Okay. I'm about to give you a D+, but you had some good questions in the beginning and you got the conversation going, which is very difficult for people. So you did a good job there. But then as you got the information, you had a very difficult time leveraging what I gave you to go further. And that is the key piece, right? You did a good job to get me going. And so you got the car going downhill, but then rather than getting momentum, you actually pulled on the brakes, right? Yeah. So that's why I give you a C-, just above a D+. But the other thing I will do for you, though, is I'm going to give you an A for coachability. You get an A for coachability. That's how you're going to win. Whether you nailed this session or not, you're going to win because of your level of humility and coachability, and you should be very proud of yourself. And I don't want you to lose that. That is a fantastic set of skills.
Okay. Thanks, mate. Yeah, I appreciate it.
Don't thank me. Thank yourself. You earned it. I didn't teach you the coachability. I didn't teach you. Thank your mom. Thank your mom. Thank your mom.
Thank my mom. Yeah, cool.
Yes.
All right.
All right, Cary, my man, I really appreciate it. But on that same note, if you think you can help us, reach out to Brady, because this is a massive problem we have not been good at. We've been unable to solve so far, and it's actually driving us insane. So if you think you can help us with this, reach out to Brady. We'll have a second conversation.
If I can't, if I can think of someone who can, I'll recommend them as well.
Thank you, sir. I greatly appreciate that.
All right. Okay.
All right, baby.
See you later.
All right. Peace.
Bye.
Bye. All right, everybody. All right. Well, there you have it. Gap selling 42. Gap sell Keenan, 42. That was a lively one. Like, I got a little fired up. He did some good stuff. But I got really fired up because of the end that he just missed some of the greatest opportunity to sell me. And I just pictured him missing that opportunity in the future, where he's sitting there talking to a big client that could have been worth hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars to him, and he just misses it. So the key here is do not miss your opportunities. Listen, pay attention, connect. The minute he heard me say we've had to redo it, oh my God, like he should have lit up like a Christmas tree. Redo it. Oh my God, how often? How much? Like ding, 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 ding. But he missed it. How often are you missing those opportunities? Learn to gap sell, get the book, then you won't have to worry about it. Right? All right, everybody. If you want to be on Gap Sell Keenan, if you want to be the next person to sell me something, text me. Text me here. I can't believe I didn't put this up. Oh my goodness gracious. Text me here, right here, 720-445-8510. Text me at that, and I will get you on. And if you have something that I need that solves a problem, I will buy it. And if not, well, you know what's going to happen. All right, everybody, got nothing but love for you. Until next time, you know what I'm going to say. Peace. I'm out.
All I hear, go get the money. So I go get it. Hate means I do something.